one of the groups of people that were pushing these progressive ideas are known as muckrakers. But before I talk about them, I've mentioned socialism a couple of different times. Socialisms are the radicalist element of this progressive era. They are going to take radical steps to try to improve working conditions and want to redistribute wealth. They are going to be the people that are going to call for nationalization of things like railroads and businesses. They are going to be the ones that are most fervent in the idea of a high income tax to take money from the wealthy into the poor. But they're the extremists in this movement. Most progressives actually rejected the idea of socialism, just like later we're going to reject the idea of communism. But the thing is that conservatives and the Republican Party in general during this time period are going to use the idea of socialism to make a lot of the liberal policies seem to be too extreme, right? They're going to paint everybody with that socialist brush, even though they're not socialists. This happens especially to unions, which we will get to eventually. Now, the muckrakers. The muckrakers are journalists. They are the first investigative journalists that are going to go into areas and they're going to research businesses and they're going to research the social ills of society and they're going to expose corruption. They're going to expose the societal ills, meaning the bad things that are happening in the society. And then they're going to lay it at the footstep of government. And they're going to say, government, fix this, right? The muckrakers are pushing progressive ideas and progressive goals, but it's the government that has to do the actual actions in order to solve the problems. An example of this is Ida Tarbell. Ida Tarbell is going to write a number of different articles in, I believe, McClure's magazine, and she's going to expose the dirty deeds of Rockefeller and his Standard Oil Company. Most famously is Upton Sinclair. He writes a book called The Jungle, where he was trying to show just how awful the working conditions were in meatpacking plants, so that that would lead for a public outcry to try to help the working class of the meatpacking industry. But when people read it, what they read was, our meat's disgusting. And that's going to lead the federal government to pass the Food and Drug Act, which we still have today, called the FDA. And lastly is a guy named Jacob Riis. Jacob Riis took a camera into the tenements where all the poor immigrants were living. He's going to take pictures and he's going to sell a book called How the Other Half Lives. And in this book, How the Other Half Lives, he's exposing all the problems that these new immigrants faced moving into the tenements and ethnic neighborhoods, and that leads to the rise of political machines. And his book becomes famous and exposes the societal ill of the tenement. Now, again, the muckrakers are exposing the issues. They're leaving it up to the government and progressive leaders to fix the problems.